Yeah, we always know it's going to be hard coming here. I think the Spirit are a really well organised team, good in possession, and we know that we've had some really good games with them in the past and really close games. So we knew it was going to be a little bit of a nail biter. We didn't really share as much of the possession or quality of possession as we'd have hoped coming into it, but to walk away from here with a clean sheet and a point. With the position of the table for the Challenge Cup, we're still in a good spot and still in a good place going into our final game.
All right, thanks. We'll open it up to questions. Meg, why don't you go ahead and start us off?
Sure. Just Freya, in terms of what you're seeing now from this team in terms of just chemistry, I talked to earlier today, and one of the reasons why she said the team was adding Ali Long was for durability over the season. But just what are you seeing from the actual cohesion of this team right now?
Yeah, I think, we show that we've got some really good moments when we're firing. And I think it's just, having that demand of greater consistency amongst the cohesion of the players. It's not quite where I wanted it to be. I think we had really, really good moments against North Carolina where we were able to possess well. But I'd like to see our possession be better and of better quality than it was tonight. And I think some of that is going to be the cohesion of the players and getting some of those relationships. Still very early in pre-season. We've got a long old season to go, so not too worried just yet.
In terms of the fate of the final, it's kind of in your control. If you get a win against Louisville, obviously there are a number of scenarios. The East is more open than the West, but in terms of being able to be at home, and if you get a dub, you go through. Do you like that as having that in your control?
Absolutely. For us to be able to go through to the final, we have to show that we're winning games, and we have to be of that class where we're deserving a place in the final. And to do that, we've got to win games. And, for us to leave here with a point, I think is good. It still keeps us on track. But it's the test of us now, and for us to elevate and to be able to take those first two wins and to really show that we're title contenders and are going to be a team that's going to be in the playoffs this year, we have to turn that into wins in the last game.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Steph, over to you.
Thanks. Freya, we saw McCall tonight. You guys just traded also for Ali Long. Are there any thoughts, on your midfield going forward and maybe a little 6-8 action happening between the two of them? What does this mean for Jennifer Cujo? I guess I'm asking you to spill all the details of your plans if you can.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for us is we've got a real good depth of talented individuals. Ali brings a great experience to the league, from the league. Same with McCall, both real competitors and winners, have got experience of winning the championship and winning titles. And Jen, obviously very new to it, but is really holding her own in there and competing. So I think it really now makes that midfield really competitive, which is only going to elevate our level of play, as these players are not only competing every match day, but competing every day in training and fighting for those starting positions, which is fantastic. And I think, if you're looking at combining some of those players, we've got a midfield with a lot of bite in it, which is great to have.
And similarly on the back line, you guys had Sabrina Flores on the bench. Can you tell us about any of the thoughts that you have about getting Flores more involved in the future? Or is this like a practice by practice thing?
Yeah, Sabrina is a fantastic player. She really helps with the possession. She's fantastic on the ball, very technically clean and sound, and she's always prepared to help the team in every way she can, and it's now just waiting for her moment, and for us to try and elevate the number of minutes that she's getting. And again, it's really good competition for places. We're demanding a lot of our outside backs in order to keep other players off the field, and that's the level of competition that we want. I think our outside backs have improved a lot from last year to this year, and I think the return of Caprice Didasco, as she's really been been great in that role and helping us again with our quality of possession. So there's some really good competition for places across multiple positions.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Jonathan, over to you.
Thanks. Freya, congrats. And Steph addressed this a little bit, but I wonder about, in a way, the virtue of getting a scoreless draw out of this and what your strategy was down the stretch late in terms of substitutions and so on, knowing that you could take that result and then be able to go for the win at home in the group stage finale?
Yeah, so for us, we made the adjustment during the game and started to place Carly slightly higher. So then bringing in Efi just to, she's been able to get some assists against Orlando and against the Courage from coming in late on against the Courage. And I think we're looking to be able to stretch them and try and take advantage of when their outside backs were high, if they left them open, and to try and make it less appealing for them to go forward. So I think, it was enabled us to separate the game a little when they attacked with, just their front three and then a couple of midfielders. So it allowed us to be able to keep that numerical advantage by just changing our shape and our formation a little.
JJ, over to you.
Yeah, Coach, your first game back with Estelle Johnson in the lineup, obviously coming back from international duty with Cameroon. Can you speak to what she brings to the back line?
Yeah, I think Estella's got great leadership, great aerial, fight and battle in her. She is really good at winning aerial balls. In addition to, we've seen her making some really last-minute, last-ditch slide tackles and being a ball winner in there. So it's great to have that. We knew that keeping a clean sheet was going to be important, and she really adds to that defensively with her ability to read play and make that tackle.
Certainly, and you spoke to the team's kind of, slowly building cohesion, but also you mentioned it's a very big result to get a point away from home and come in with controlling your own destiny next game. So from that performance, what kind of positives do you take away? What do you like about what you saw?
Yeah, I think for us, sorry, I've got a really bad I'll just speak for it. I think for us, we're coming into the game and keeping a clean sheet with them up to be able to control our own destiny. And it's a big learning experience for us to be able to get through that game. There were moments where the Spirit put a lot of pressure on us, and for us to be able to ride and weather that storm. And as you said, for us to be this team that is going to go on and whether it's compete in the Challenge Cup final, whether it's compete and have a run at playoffs, whether it's competing for a championship, we have to be able to win games when the pressure's on. So that's a huge plus for us to be put in this situation, and to have lots of opportunity to experience this situation, especially with some of our younger players, and really test ourselves. That's the only way we're going to develop and be the team that wins championships, is being able to overcome these situations when the pressure's really on us.
Jonathan, back to you for your second question.
Thanks. That's probably the last one I have. I don't think I heard you say, and I don't think necessarily I have seen yet, when Allie gets to town. Is she available next weekend, or is it going to be longer than that?
Yeah, there's still some conversations to be had. So we're still waiting to see when that actual arrival date is. So, hopefully it'll be soon and she can be back in training with the team as soon as possible.
All right, we're going to be joined by Gina Lewandowski and Nicole Zerboni shortly. Any final questions for Coach before she leaves us for the night?
Just one quick one.
Yeah, go ahead, Meg.
I know that Carly was obviously trying to refuse the trainer and all that good stuff, but A, how is she? But B, it just also kind of speaks to Carly that, she, as I think Galpal Sports put on Twitter, had an entire new cheek on top of her cheek with that injury. So A, is she okay? But B, kind of what was your read on that, trying to play through it?
Yeah, that's Carly all over, isn't it? She's a fighter and she just, wants to continue and try and grind out a result of the game. So it is a pretty special lump that she's got growing from a cheekbone right now. But, she's doing fine and she'll get some ice on it. But it's not a little bump and a little lump isn't going to stop her performing.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks, Meg.
All right. If there's no other questions for Freya, I think that'll do it for the night. Thanks for joining us, Coach.
Thank you, everyone. Cheers.
Hi, Gina. Thanks for joining. Great game out there tonight. I think we're just going to dive into to questions. Any questions for Gina? Go ahead, Jonathan.
Thanks. Hi, Gina. Congratulations. I wonder what the conversation was among the players in the last, closing stages of the game, when you knew that a scoreless draw standings wise would probably be fine in terms of being able to come home and win the group. What was going on out there in terms of pushing for it versus holding on?
Yeah, I mean, I think first off, we're definitely not proud of this performance. We definitely can play a lot better than this, but we did hold on. We did our job. We held a clean sheet. That was one of our goals. And yeah, it's in our own hands right now, but the job's not done. We still, have to win at home. But yeah, I mean, Louisville is going to come out strong. So, we just had to do our job.
Thank you.
Steph, over to you.
I just wanted to ask, from your position, your perspective, as a center back, seeing down the field, it looks like the Spirit got some penetration on you guys tonight, just going right through that midfield. From your point of view, what was happening there and what were some adjustments you felt that you guys were making in order to handle, particularly Sullivan just getting right through?
Yeah, I think the first half, our pressing wasn't as effective. So they were able to stretch us out in our midfield and we got tired easily. So when we got the ball, we weren't able to keep it as well. But we talked about it at halftime and we figured out a way to go into the second half and have our pressing a little bit better and more effective so we can save our legs and try to prevent that penetrating ball into the midfield. But as you saw, they still were very effective and dangerous. But yeah, I think we collapsed very well in the defense and was able to stop it with Didi.
Over to you, Meg.
It's going to be perfect timing since my dog is about to start barking. But just in terms of the cohesion of this team and what you're seeing through these first 3 games, where do you think this team is? I think that there has been kind of this sense that we've gotten post game of this is a new team, right? This like the rebrand has allowed this new vision for Gotham FC. Are you seeing that come through on the cohesion?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we're definitely a new team, but with any new team, well, we got a lot of the same players, but we new brand, new vision, we want to move forward, but yeah, it's going to take time. We're only in the 3rd game of the season, Challenge Cup, and we got tested today, and we didn't think we'd come out here and being able to play like we did last 2 games because they're scouting us and they're learning how to defend us. So these games are great tests for us, so we can learn and grow and try to play our style no matter what opponent comes out. So yeah, it's going to be important for us to build this cohesion going into the next few games and build off of each game.
Thank you.
Any final questions for Gina before we let her go for the night? All right, thanks, Gina. Great game.
Thank you.
We'll be joined by McCall Zerboni next. Hi, McCall. Thanks for joining us. It was good to see you back out in the field tonight. I think we'll jump into questions right away. Meg, go ahead and start.
Sure. Hi, McCall. Just in terms of A, how you're feeling, but also B, what it's like, what you're seeing from this team. Obviously, you've been with them in training, but what are your overall takeaways from Gotham FC's first 3 games so far?
Yeah, hi. I'm getting better each day, so thank you for asking. I mean, I think we have a really bright group. I saw smidges of that last season in the Challenge Cup. And I knew that we had no ceiling with this group, and everyone went and took care of themselves in the off season and trained really hard. And we had a really strong preseason, and I think that's starting to show. But we are a squad that still needs to learn a lot, and we obviously learn from our woes the most. So happy to come away with a point, but we have a winning mentality now, and when we don't win, we feel like we didn't succeed all the way. So.
And just in terms of obviously with the trade news today, and I know that you were tweeting at Allie Long about her incoming appearance for the team, but what do you think she's going to add to this roster with her arrival?
Oh, right away, more quality and experience in the midfield. I think that's something that will really help our style of play and the way that we are. She obviously has a lot of experience in winning and preparation, and she's a top pro. So our younger players is just another kind of leader and role model for them to look and learn things to do from. But as far as on the pitch, she's also kind of versatile. She can kind of play anywhere in the midfield. She's good on free quick. She's good in the air. So she has a lot of qualities, and I'm excited to have her.
Perfect. Thank you, McCall.
Go ahead, Steph.
Thanks. Hi, McCall. Welcome back. It's great to see you out there. Up until now, Jennifer Cujo has kind of had to take on some of the responsibilities in that defensive midfield role. Has there been any discussion between the two of you for her trying to fill in a spot, in a new and very difficult position that has not necessarily been something that she has a ton of experience with up until now?
To be fair, I think it's probably one of her best positions because the players in front of her. I think she's best when she can and see the game in front of her. And, I think it's a difficult position to play in the 10 or the 8 because there's, you're on the half turn or your back completely facing the wrong way to goal. So when she can see things, it's a better thing for her. But so I think she's just learning, when to pressure, when to cover, when to balance, when to hold in the hole, how to spray the ball from side to side. So, every position on the field is a tough position, but especially that one, because you got to be like a box to box player. So.
Right. Meg brought it up a little bit, but now with Ali Long in the mix, do you have any thoughts on ways that maybe this is going to enable all of you to be the very best that you can be in your, preferred positional responsibilities in midfield? Because like you said, Cujo, she's great at that turn and face up.
Yeah, I think, we want to give Freya headaches, right? We want to have so many good options that, she's losing sleep the night before the game, who to pick, right? So, and then also just pushing each other in training and, trying to find who's best at 6, who's best at 8, who's best at 10, what formation we want to play this game. So, it also keeps the opponent on their toes, right? Because they don't know who's going to play where and, what kind of formation or style we're going to come out in. So, we're just adding some new things to arsenal and should be good.
Thank you.
JJ, over to you.
Yeah, my internet just came back now, so apologies if this question was already asked. But obviously, control your own destiny heading into next week. For a team like Gotham, first time in a while that, unlike much like last year, first time for a while you're going to be playing a game with tournament final implications. So what's the mentality like heading into next week, knowing that for a club like Gotham, reaching the final will be a pretty big milestone, at least in recent memory?
Yeah, I think it's a good opportunity. It's a good test for us at the same time, as we want to continue to, add important games under this team's belt, and especially individuals that haven't had a lot of important games. It's kind of a one and done before the one and done for us, right? So we need to win to go on, and then we need to win to be the champions. So it will give us that momentum in preparation of, it's an all or nothing mentality.
All right, any final questions for McCall before we let her go for the night? All right, thanks for joining, McCall. Thanks for hopping on, everyone. Appreciate the questions. That is a wrap from Audi Stadium. Have a good night.